Hello everybody, and thank you for joining us. My name is Andrew and I'm with Pure Resonance Audio. Today we're going to talk about our C3 ceiling speaker. We have a couple of different demos that we're going to go over today. Specifically, we're going to look at the three different mounting options that make this speaker so versatile. The three options we have are a drop tile mounting ring, a drywall mounting ring, and a pendant kit that turns this C3 speaker into a unique, elegant, modern day pendant speaker. So a little bit about the C3, there's a couple tap setting options on the back of the speaker that will need to be adjusted prior to installation. You have your 70 volt tap settings and your low impedance tap setting. For the 70 volt, you have three options. You have 1.5 watts, you have 3 watts, and you have 5 watts. We're not going to go into a lot of detail about that today, but if you have questions about that, please reach out and we'll be happy to help. This is a great speaker option for applications where soft background music is wanted, or maybe you have a dental clinic or medical office that needs speech privacy. This is a great speaker option for sound masking as well as background music. So the standard C3 speaker will come with the drop tile mounting ring as shown here. As you'll see, there's little grooves here on the outside edge. This helps make a snug fit against the drywall as you're turning it in the ceiling. What you're going to do is you're going to want to unpack your speaker. This will already be threaded on. It's off for demo purposes, but today we're going to show you exactly how you are to install it on a drop tile ceiling. So here we have a drop tile ceiling tile, standard 2x2, maybe you have a 2x4, it doesn't really matter. The hole size is going to be 4 1/4, so you'll need to make sure you take the ceiling tile down, cut your hole as you see here. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to stick this speaker into the hole as so. You're going to go on the other side and it's going to spin securely on your drop tile. So from here you have your speaker inputs and your speaker output Euro blocks. From the amplifier, you're going to run your positive and your negative wire. Positive is always on the red. Your negative is always going to be your black wire. You're going to run to the speaker input from here. Now what makes this so easy for installation is the output has a Euro block as well for positive and negative wire, where you can run from your speaker out to your next speaker and so on and so forth in a 70 volt application where you're daisy chaining your speakers together. Now one thing I do want to point out, there is a little metal ring on the back of the C3 right here for safety purposes. We do recommend that you safely mount using some kind of cable to some kind of structure up in the plenum for extra safety precautions. Check with your local safety standards to see if this is needed for you. So next we're going to talk about the drywall mounting ring and installation for a hard drywall ceiling. So the C3 ceiling speaker is going to come with the ring for drop tile. What you'll have to do is you'll have to unscrew that and you'll have to thread this on to the speaker instead. Ultimately what you're going to have is something that looks a lot like this, and you'll see that the mounting ring is a little bit different because it has these little dog ears here. And so we're going to do a little demonstration on the drywall. So when mounting this, you want to make sure that you've already inserted your speaker wire, of course, because you probably have limited space behind the ceiling. So make sure you've connected your positive and your negative wires to the input and the output terminals on the back of the speaker. Make sure you've already adjusted your tap settings, and then you can install. So when installing this, you don't want these ears to be flopped out as so. You're not going to have to go in on one side and try to force it on the other side. So when you go to install the speaker, make sure that these flaps are sticking up. They don't need to be outwards like this. You need to make sure they're standing upright like this. Naturally, when you go in to push the speaker, the end of the drywall will catch onto these flaps, pushing them downwards since they're spring loaded. So eventually what you're going to do is put them in like this. You're going to push the speaker in, and the speaker will be locked into place. A small note on the drywall mounting ring, the hole size is a little bit different. Like the drop tile, it was a 4 1/4. Hole size for the drywall mounting ring, it's a little bit different. It's going to be 5 1/8. So just keep that in mind. These instructions are in the manual, but feel free to reach out if you have any questions about how this works. So the last mounting option that we're going to go over today is the pendant kit, which turns this C3 speaker into a nice modern pendant speaker that can be hung in open ceilings where the architecture is exposed, where there's beams, to make your place look very nice and elegant. We see this a lot for restaurants or open ceilings and retail spaces, and so this is a great option to make the C3 ceiling speaker into a pendant. So what you're going to have is you're going to have this housing here. I just want to point out that, again, you're going to have to take this drop tile mounting ring off because you're not going to need it when you're using the pendant kit. The really unique thing about this housing here is that we have an integrated speaker wire and safety cable all in one. And so, as you can see here, we have 4 separate wires to allow you to go into the inputs and the outputs on the Euroblock of the speaker that we've talked about before. So when you're installing the speaker, what you're going to need to do is you're going to have to unscrew this collet nut here on top. What that's going to do is it's going to free up this wire to rotate whenever you go in to put the speaker in. So on the inside, you also have the 4 wires. Naturally, 2 of the colors are going to be on one side and 2 are going to be on the other. At this point, these are going to be your new input and your output wires. And so you'll go into the Euroblock just like before for the input and the output. Once you've done that and you have all 4 of your wires connected, you're going to insert your speaker all the way in, spin it until it gets flush with the bottom of the pendant kit. Then you have a flush, elegant white pendant speaker. At this point, you want to make sure you put the collet nut back on. So the last thing I want to talk about is the mounting. So as I said before, the wire and the safety cable are integrated all in one to make it easy. On the end, you'll see this steel cable here. There's a little nut that you'll have to unscrew. It'll make this loose, and then you can adjust this wire as long as you need it in order to go over the structure for mounting. Since that cable runs through this entire jacket, you can clip this jacket as necessary and strip it to make it as long as you need to. You can also clip these speaker wires if you need to make it a lot cleaner. So basically, you're just going to run your wires from the amplifier into your input wires, and then you have, just like before on the C3 drop tile and drywall mounts, you're going to have your output wires. You'll go from that, and then you'll go to the next speaker, to the very next speaker, all the way until you get to the very last one. So that concludes our demos today. Thanks for tuning in and watching. If you have any questions about what we went over today, please feel free to drop a comment. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. Please like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for additional videos on our products, please let us know. You can always reach out to us through our website, pureresonanceaudio.com. We have a chat available if you have any questions. If you need help with the design for your space, let us know and we'll be happy to help. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.